Greetings everybody, Skipper back here. Of course we got the Reliabilt here again, and last time you saw me with the Reliabilt I opened the package up and just went through, picked it and kind of reviewed it a little bit, and that's great. Now I had some questions on how to actually, for beginner lock pickers, how to really get into this lock. And if I'm not mistaken, last time I used my RWB pick, which is a very nice disc detainer pick, but not many of you guys out there have that pick yet. So what I'm going to do is use the more accessible, popular pick, Sparrows, which is good one. And one thing that I do recommend getting on the Sparrows, if you don't have, is you can see this spacer, a little adapter. It can be 3D printed, put it right on top. I do recommend getting those for several reasons, and I will go over those in a minute. But anyway, just to show you, here's the key for the lock. I do believe this is the exact same one that I opened straight out of the package that you guys saw. And first thing we're going to take a look at is this key bitting, because if you're a beginning lock picker, you really want to kind of take a look at this key bitting, because it's going to help you a lot in picking open this disc detainer lock. Now these do not have any false gates in them, but they are very gritty. So to where you get some other locks that turn a little bit more smoother, a little bit more finer details on the inside. This one is very gritty. So what I'm going to do is just get a little pick here to help kind of demonstrate here a little bit. And I'm going to zoom in on this key, kind of show you what we're going to be looking for. Now on the Reliabilt, you cannot bottom tension this lock. You saw me in my first video where I literally started to go for bottom tensioning, and then I had to switch out and go to top tensioning. But this is good because this key, you can tension top to top. The top one will be, as your tensioning will be in a true gate. So no counter rotation will be needed on this one. But this one does have, the one, which is a fixed disc at the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 disc. So it is a 9 disc disc detainer lock. And just kind of studying this key a little more for you beginners so you can kind of see. And you guys got to yell at me if I pull something off camera. But anyway, we can see this first gate that I'm going to study is a max cut. So I know when I get to that thing, I'm going to go ahead and try to rotate it all the way back around. And I want to kind of demonstrate and show you guys what those gates feel like. I know this one's going to be about a mid cut. This one's going to be a little more shallower. This one's a little bit deeper than these two. And then this one is a 0 cut. So, and then we go back and into a pretty deep cut right here, but not a max, but it is a deeper cut. And then we'll have our tensioning disc right here. Apologize again. Your tensioning cut right here, disc right here on this, where this key is that we'll be tensioning with the Sparrows right here. So anyway, there's the tensioning disc. One that's going to be cut pretty good, a no-cut disc, and one that's going to be cut halfway, a little bit shallower. Two that are a little bit shallower. One right here, that's about good halfway, and then another one that's going to be cut pretty deep. So look at your key when you get it, so you'll kind of know what you're going to be hunting for when you get into this thing. So anyway, again, like I said, that bottom disc is going to not move when you grab it, so you'll know when you're on that bottom disc. So anyway, I'm going to zoom right back out a little bit and again show you a couple things how you need to get ready to prepare to pick this lock. So we're going to zoom right back out a little bit, and I will be picking this one in hand. But anyway, I have the spacer on here because this one, if you do not use the spacer, the Sparrows can go in too deep and grab the second disc. Now, first thing you want to do is I've already got this one set for this lock to save a little bit of time, but let's kind of look right in here to this right here. So we're going to zoom in on this little keyway, because one of the big mistakes beginning lock pickers will make on disc detainer is they will, I'm going to try to get the light a little bit better in here, is they will grab 2 discs at the top, and you'll never get an open when you're trying to turn 2 discs at the top. So of course, we always go in here, turn this, and turn all the discs counterclockwise. But here's one thing. If you just take your tensioner in this Reliabilt and turn, it's only turn about a quarter way, because that bottom disc, as I mentioned earlier, is a fixed disc. So what I'll have to do is grab a little bit of tension, and I'm going to kind of go on an angle so you can see, and I'm going to slowly start to pull this key out till I get past that first disc. And there we go. And then I can turn the rest of the disc clockwise. Because one thing I have noticed in these Reliabilts is that you want to pick kind of rotating, but if you end up having to go back because you overpicked it, that core will want to seize up on you pretty tightly, and you're going to have to let off tensioning to get that disc to go back. So anyway, you'll get that. Now, when you want to set your disc pick, sometimes if you don't have a spacer, you will want to take that top disc and just counter rotate it back a little bit, even though it's full cut. Now you see what I've done? So now I have this disc in here where when I put my regular picking tip in here, and I'm going to see if I can just find one. Yeah, there we go. Excuse me for reaching across my arm. I'm going to grab one right here and show you. So that when you put this in here, your tensioning tip, that it's not going to go past that disc right there. And let's see if I can show you that a little bit better. So if I counter rotate that top one, and you can do it with a pick or you can do it with a tensioner. But anyway, it allows you to set your depth that you need to be at without picking up two discs. But like I said, I've already preset this one in, so it should rest in. And what's going to be nice is with this spacer on here, I'm going to be able to rest this pick right against the body of this lock, and it will help. And that will also help tremendously if you ever have to counter rotate a lock. So anyway, I'm going to put this right in. I'm going to go right here. We're going to grab that first disc. I'm going to turn until it grabs. And then I'm going to start tensioning right here. And this one doesn't need heavy tensioning. You just tension it right there, and then we can just start to navigate. But one thing I did a skipper mistake. As you can see, I've got my pick locked into the tensioner right there, so I need to get it back in. So it will navigate through the lock. Okay. So I have it here. My pick is all the way at the bottom. And as you can see, I'm just going to start trying to find that first disc. And that first disc should not move at all either direction. And as you can see, I'm on it on this Reliabilt, and that thing is not moving either direction. And I tell you what, I'm going to try to move myself a little bit more into the center of the screen. And we go right there. So now, remember, one thing is always nice to have when you're beginning is put that key right here in front of you, so you can sit there and spy and see what cuts you're on the next time to help you feel your way through on this one. So, again, there's my first one, and I know it's not moving. So what I'm going to do here, what I like to do is as soon as I get off that first disc, I like to spin it. That way, I can come in here and grab that disc, and I say, oh, there's my next disc. And then I can just put a little bit of tension on it. I'm pulling just a little bit of tension this way on my picking tip. And I just turn this until I feel that fall right into a gate, because these discs are thin. There it is right there. And then I can start to pick. Now, I do know that this disc is going to have to go all the way back, just from looking at that key. So I just went ahead and turned it. I really didn't pick it. I already knew where it's going to be. I just turned it. But what'll be good is for you guys to start to get the feel of it, because you know it's in a gate. So put a little tension on that thing, and then you can start to feel what a gate feels like between its stopping points. See, I can feel. What happens here is I've rubbed up against the disc on the inside, and then I'm going to turn it here, and now I'll touch the disc on the other side, and then I can feel it turn a little bit again. You see that little bit of movement right there? That's that gate. So, I have a little bit of wiggle room with the picking tip inside. I'm going to grab this picking tip and show you here. So with the picking tip inside, you can see you have a little bit of room before it hits the sides of those discs. But then I can feel that disc turn freely just a little bit, and that tells you you're right into a gate. And again, I know that gate's a zero cut just by looking at that key. So now I'm on to the second disc right here. So we're right here on the second disc, and I know this one's going to rotate, at least halfway through. But what I want you to look for, when you're picking this is, this thing's gritty. Yeah, for some reason, these Reliabilts are great. I just fell off that disc, so I'm trying to get back on it. Let me get back on that number 2 disc, and then there we go. Right back in there, and then I'm going to start to turn, kind of rotate a little bit. And I can feel a little bit of grittiness there. It's not giving yet, so I'm going to go a little bit more real gritty. You know, I turned it all the way right there, so I know that point I went past that gate. Now, sometimes a disc is not ready to be picked, and it won't give you any feedback. Now, this is not a gate. That is just my pick hitting both sides of the disc, because I can feel it when it hits, and then it just solid stops. Yeah, it doesn't spin any little bit, so I know it's not in the gate. So I am going to go back clockwise, and it does. I'm going to let off tension to help this thing go in. But boom, right there, you feel that? You see that little pop? Okay, so now I'm in. Now, okay, there's a disc turn. I've hit the next side of the disc, and then I turn, and then it just stops. I know that one's in a gate right there. So I'm going to come back up, hit the 3rd disc. And I'm going to put a little more tension on the core because I didn't get a lot of feedback on that. Now I got some feedback because it doesn't turn a whole lot. And look, this thing just wants to stop right there. So I can feel this thing just playing right inside that gate against that sidebar. And I do know that the next disc should be identical to this one, so it should pick at the same point. And boom, there it is, it just fell right in. So a lot of times when I pick, these discs will just, my pick will fall right off of it. So there's the gate there. I can just feel it turning very loosely in there. Here's this one here, turning very loosely. And then come back to this one. Oops. Again, I just went fast and right past that gate. And I've even lost which disc I'm on right now. So, but this one does feel like a gate. It's on a gate right here. So I'm just going to go through and kind of start picking this thing right away. And I bet you that's my zero cut there. Let's see here. Come right back in there. I'm going to get back on that one. You can just, I want you to watch this. You know, you can feel this thing go right in that gate. I just took it right back out of the gate just so I can show you. You can see I've got some tensioning, some binding going on, you've got grittiness, and all of a sudden you're going to see this thing just boom. And that's when it falls in that gate. So watch this tensioner turn. Boom, you see that little quick turn right there? It just fell right into that gate. Again, I'm turning, this one's the zero cut right there, so it's right in there. There we go, that one, you see that little quick turn right there? So evidently I've skipped a disc somewhere, so let's go back in here and find out which one I did and which one I missed. And it's probably going to be one of those doubles right there, because I remember this one is sitting nicely in the gate, so I'm just going back and checking. And sometimes it's very surprising, but oh man, I've got to concentrate on this one a little bit more, because that is the, there it is. Now we're in the gate there. Somehow that one came out. There's the two double together. again, I was just checking this disc here. I'm going to put it all the way back over the tension again. There we go, we got an open. So as you can see, I probably knocked some disc out somewhere in there when I was playing around talking too much. But yeah, we do have that open right there, and I hope this helps you in seeing how this. But again, this is a very, very, very gritty lock. So it does, you know, sometimes those grits will throw you off a little bit on what's a gate and what's not. So when you think you're in one, you know, just be sure to go in and do that little wiggle just right inside that gate, because sometimes if you have this sidebar and this gate's not, you know, just say my fingers are a gate and you have it over just a little bit like that instead of in that true gate, and the disc is sitting right there on the edge, it'll keep that sidebar up and that binding and it won't open. So sometimes going back and just wiggling that disc back and forth will allow that sidebar to truly fall in and help you out a little bit on that end. So anyway, I appreciate you looking, and you can go ahead and turn me off right now. If not, I'm going to go to the second Reliabilt, and should have a different keyway here. So I'm going to start on it. If you want to watch it, more than welcome to hang around and see this one. Again, lots of different bidding, totally different bidding on this one than the last one. But again, since we have two different ones, I'm going to sit there and put this in, and we'll jump right in and start to pick this one. And again, I'm going to lay this right here so you can actually follow me picking with the bidding of the keys. So again, I'm going to turn this in again. You know, Reliabilts, they got that bottom disc that does not want to turn, so I went right here. Okay, and then I'm going to study this key again just real fast. It looks like I got a Z, you know, max cut here, 2 zeros. You know, this one ought to hopefully go pretty fast. So let's just see. I don't even know if I picked this one yet or not. But anyway, I'm going to get this in here, get my picking, my Sparrows right in here, and sink this all the way to the bottom. Put me back on the center of the screen, let you see the key right here. And again, I'll narrate through this one too. So we got this one. Here's my, okay, currently I'm on this disc right here. Right there at the bottom. And then I'm going to come up and grab my next disc right there, and I know it's going to be a maximum counterclockwise turn just from the cut on the key. So let's just go ahead and go have some fun and turn it all the way. And you'll see this thing just pop in just a second right in. You should. Well, that one didn't pop, but let's see. I just want to check that gate. Yep. And this there. So now we're going to go up to the next two, and guess what, those next two are 0 cuts. So I'm going to turn this clockwise as hard as I can to make sure they're in there. There's 1, 2, and then I'm going to skip them and then come right in here to this disc cut right here. So again, I'm showing you how to do the beginning lock picker pick on it. So have your key out handy, because that's going to help you a lot. And then we'll start to rotate this back, and then that just popped in right there, right here. There we go. And listen, I can still feel a little bit of rubbing going on, but what I'm feeling right here is this thing wants to stop right here. I've touched the other side of the disc, and then it wants to stop right there. So you can see how much that disc is moving before it wants to stop. Now, since it's not a max cut disc, I know I can turn it out of that gate by just giving it a little bit more turn, but I really don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is kind of leave it right there. Now, we're going to go on to the next two discs, which are identical, which are right here. Should be about a mid turn, so I'm going to come up here, grab my next disc. Here we go. Light tension, there we go. You feel that thing just give right there, just like that. Of course, I know you didn't feel it, of course not. But anyways, you see that just pop. Let's see if we can see the second one do the same thing. I'm gonna do some light tension here. I'm feeling some little bit of grinding going on, and then you'll see this thing just pop real fast. Right there, you see that? Okay, it just popped pretty quick. So now I'm checking, I'm touching and turning, touching, and it turns a little bit. So I know there's something in there that's giving me a give. And I'm gonna turn this one right here. You see that pop right into that gate? And then I'm gonna turn and it stops, turn and stops. I touch and it turns a little bit then stops. I touch and it turns a little bit and stops. Now, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this thing because I don't want to turn out of that gate, but I'm doing the same thing with both of them to verify that I'm in that gate. And when you start dealing with false gates, you're going to see how much of that turn it's going to give you to tell if you're in a true gate or false gate, to where true gate's going to do you a little bit better. So anyway, here I'm going to go right in this gate. I must have talked myself out of one here just a second ago. Here we go. And I've got right here. And I think I just missed setting this disc here. I think I just went right past it. There we go. Look, I felt a little bit of cord movement. So probably what it is I'm sitting on the edge of a gate right now somewhere. So I just need to come right in here and do a little wiggle to get myself back, back on track with it. And there might be this one here because it's not. So I'm just going to go back and wiggle these discs a little bit, see if I can get that sidebar to fall right in. Wiggle. Okay, that one definitely feels good. That one doesn't feel good for some reason. Now it feels good. There we go. And got that open right there with this one. And what I had was I had this first disc right here. Somehow I grabbed it and had it turned out of its gate, and I just had to go back and drop it right in. So just be careful as you're navigating up through here to do that. But I hope this helps you in finding those gates in this thing. Again, Reliabilts are very, very gritty. Not so, this probably be ranked as a little bit higher belt just because of that grittiness in it. Doesn't mean it's better lock than a Zarker or whatever. The Zarker is a little smoother and you can find those gates a little bit easier. But I think because these pins in here are, the disc in here are steel, and maybe they didn't finish them up as nicely, but you can just feel that grittiness against that sidebar all the way. Does make it a little bit harder to feel picking, but even when you in that gate, you can still feel a little rubbing going on, so that might throw you off. Just remember, just do that little turn test where you turn, so you're gonna end up putting this thing, you end up putting this thing inside of a inside of the disc, and then when you turn, when you turn this thing, it's going to hit that side disc and then start to turn it. Same thing right there. So you're going to have a little bit of free turn on it, but feel for that little bit of disc turning that gives in while you're picking it to help you find these true gates on it. And like I said, you even saw me went through. Sometimes I just knocked one right out, and I just went through and found that disc that is not turning freely anymore, or that I can't feel those stops, and then I just go through and find that one disc and turn it, and you're good to go. Again, be careful not to pick up multiple discs on the top. If you pick up 2 discs, you can pick it all day long and think you have everything in there, but if you got 2 discs that you picked up on the top from your tensioner, you will not get an open. So again, be careful to make sure you have your depth set correctly on your pick. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. You've seen 2 of them picked right here. And, I'm not the speediest picker, but, I do get it open every once in a while. So appreciate you tuning in. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.